Hey, Don.
Hey, Jacob.
Be cool. My wife's here. Krystle!
Yay!
This will be the most well-behaved Jacob podcast of all time.
You're never well behaved.
This is true.
I told my mom that we were bringing Krystle on, and she said something to that effect, like, "Oh, do you think Jacob's going to behave?" And I said, "No."
No. The same Jacob is all Jacob. There was no, I don't hide anything.
It's true.
True. So, my wife, topical. Yeah, we wanted to bring you on so, we could see what it's like to be a spouse of a photographer or a partner of a photographer.
Mm-hmm. And also, we learned in Amanda's episode that Krystle is actually like the brains behind it.
Correct.
So we want to hear about that
I think it's more than just brains. I'm kind of like, I just push the button. She does all the other stuff.
Right.
But we'll get into that, I think. So,
Maybe.
All of our fan want to know.
The one?
Yeah, the one fan.
Bonnie Robertson.
Yeah.
My dad.
Shout out,
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's the first time we shout her out. She's going to be real excited.
Yeah.
So, how did, before we met, where'd you grow up? Tell us your story.
I grew up in Orlando, Florida.
You're the only one.
So,
There's two of you.
I was born in New Jersey. I moved here when I was a baby, so it's really all I ever knew. I grew up in Orlando. I grew up going to theme parks. My stepmom worked for Disney when I was young, so we literally went all the time. And that was kind of...
What high school you go to for you local?
University High School.
I don't know where that is.
Which is much, much larger than what your high school was.
Oh, gosh.
It was like a college campus. It was...
How many kids were in your high school?
Oh, gosh. So they opened a relief school a couple of years in.
I don't know what any of those words mean.
So before the relief school, I think there was about 10,000. And then after the relief school in my high school, I think about 7,000 stayed, give or take.
You know how many kids are in my high school? 119. That is freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors.
We were so large that not only did we have a large high school campus, but there was a middle school right across the street, and they opened a new middle school. So we took over the middle school campus just to house extra kids.
I didn't realize that.
And they added in portables to the middle school to house extra kids. All of my classes, my first couple of years, had 50 students in them. It was literally like college.
Was Timber Creek the relief school?
That was the relief school.
Okay, because that's where I taught.
Okay.
So I taught not long after we graduated. Only 4 years after we graduated. Mm-hmm. And that school had 4,500 students when I was teaching. And that was, and it was like a massive campus. And then they had to open the one in Bithlo to relieve Timber Creek.
Just relief upon relief upon relief. Yeah.
Too many people.
119 kids.
So after high school, where did your work life take you? Disney.
To be fair, it started during high school. That was my job.
What was your first Disney job?
Merchandise.
Where?
Dino Land.
I don't know. They don't know. You don't know.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Dino Land.
So, speaking of which, while we're taping this, rest in peace, Dino Land. It actually closed yesterday.
Really?
Not dinosaur, but the Dino-Rama, like the Chester and Hester area.
Which Chester and Hester had the absolute worst costuming on Disney property. It was all very neon with the dinosaur bones on it, which that would have been fine. I can get into it, but it was worse for the female cast members.
She's gonna do it. You're gonna say it. You had the shorts, right?
Who had the shorts with dino paw prints on your tush.
No.
This is a true story.
Only the female shorts.
Yep.
Not.
We'll insert a picture right there.
The male shorts. I don't know if I have a picture of that.
They're online.
I'm sure they're somewhere on the internet.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was awesome.
Wow.
Only
I
on
was
the girls.
so
Just two
happy
Triceratops.
when I got scheduled at the dinosaur ride for merchandise because I didn't have to wear the god-awful uniform. I got to wear the same dinosaur uniform that the attractions cast members wore. So
Wow.
Yeah. It was special. That's a special time.
That's a fun piece of Disney trivia.
Yeah. You couldn't get away with that today.
No.
And outside carts in Animal Kingdom.
Outside carts in Animal Kingdom was the absolute worst. One of our carts, the one in the Dinorama, like the carnival area, it was literally wrapped in aluminum. And there was no awning on it at the time. I do believe they added one towards the end. But at this time, there was no awning on it. So you were full direct sun, literally with a reflector just on you at all times. It was the most miserable cart. Everybody hated working that cart in softball.
This goes back to my theory of Imagineers who don't live in Florida.
Yeah,
somebody wasn't thinking it through.
As someone that worked at Everest that had these problems and other things, like you see Toy Story Land that has zero shade, zero air conditioning, you're like, can we get someone that lives in Florida to design some stuff here, please?
Yeah. Why did they do a whole new Toy Story area and they didn't put any cover? Yeah, I didn't really think about it.
I think they had Southern California in mind and not Florida.
Yeah. And there's another reason, but you know the reason.
Anyways.
Yeah. So then what happened after you graduated? You started college.
Yes, I started college.
Yeah. But where did you transfer to? Disney.
Oh, Disney-wise. Disney, I then transferred to attractions.
Hey-o.
Specifically Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith, which is going away.
It is going away.
Yeah.
Well, no, the Rock and Roller Coaster isn't, but Aerosmith is going away.
Yeah.
And that inserts
which
Jacob.
Because wait, hold on. You've just been rushing her along so we can get to where you come into the story.
Right. Yeah.
Because I am the best thing that's ever happened. Let's be honest. But yeah, so I started in January of 2004.
Not important.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. Last year we did celebrate 20 years together as a couple.
Yeah.
Wow.
As a couple. Not married, but as a couple. Oh my God. Yeah, so Rock and Roller Coaster. Fun fact, though, that I always like to tell this story, is she worked there, obviously, long before me.
Yeah.
And we never saw each other for 4 months working there.
Just because your schedules were different? Mm-hmm. Whoa, that's wild.
Especially because she was still at school, so she was part-time. Mm-hmm. And then how did we meet?
Well, I know when I first saw you, but I don't think that's when you saw me.
No.
I don't think we really, fully met until the party.
So we both went to a Rock and Roller Coaster cast party.
It was a cast party,
at someone's apartment.
Yes. But I only went to this party because I found out that Jacob was going to be going, or supposed to be going.
And I wasn't going to go
Which he almost didn't go, so that would have really just messed everything up.
There was another cast member there that had a crush on me. I knew of said crush. I had zero interest in said crush. And I didn't want to go and just put myself in any kind of dumb situation. Mm-hmm. And my dumb roommate at the time, shout out Jeff, he really wanted to go.
Yeah.
So we went. Mm-hmm. And I purposely, I don't know if you remember this, but I bought $40 worth of Taco Bell because I was going to sit at the table and eat way too much Taco Bell and not talk to anyone.
I know you've mentioned that before. Yeah. I have no recollection of that. But I mean, it wasn't...
My whole goal was to be unattractive.
I brought a friend with me, so I wasn't there by myself. So I was still interacting with everybody else. So I don't even know if I knew when you actually came in.
I was there first.
Were you?
Yeah, because I was sitting at the table.
Were you sitting at the table?
I was trying to be as unattractive as possible.
I didn't even notice you then.
I had 16 burritos. I was just oh.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Right. You walked in because I can still see the table. You walked in right there into the table. And I was like, who dis? And then you walked up to the table and we just started talking. And you were like, I work at Rock Roller Coaster. And I was like, no, you don't.
And I was like, yeah. And I had actually seen you walking across the coaster park. Oh my gosh.
Coaster courtyard.
Coaster courtyard. That was a hard word to say. Before you even saw me. So
there you go.
And I was like, oh, he's cute.
And we ended up talking the whole night. Yeah. We didn't leave pretty much at all.
Yeah.
Each other's company.
Yep. And was that the party where we had to hide in a room because security knocked on the door? No. That wasn't that party. Okay, that was a different coaster party.
It wasn't a Disney, it wasn't a...
Maybe Keith knows that
one.
No, there was a different coaster party, yeah. Because they're
Was it like in a college program?
Yeah.
Apartment.
This wasn't a college program. This was at I can't remember whose apartment it was. It doesn't matter. But yeah, and then so like I walked you out, said goodnight.
Yeah.
You left, and then I finally went home after, got Jeff and took him home. You got something to say?
Do you remember? Good night.
Because I paid you $1 for a kiss because I was so awkward. I was like, something's here.
So we had obviously, in my opinion, we had obviously been flirting the whole night.
For you.
He walks into my
flirting.
car. And like we're saying goodnight, and there's that awkward exchange where like, okay, are we gonna like make plans to hang out again? Or like, how is this gonna end? And so then he just gives me $1 and asks if he can have a kiss on the cheek.
Nailed it.
So I did take the $1.
Yeah.
I did take the $1 because I was a Disney cast member and money was scarce. But I did give him a kiss on the cheek.
And then, but here's because again, this is 2001. And so obviously we had cell phones, but there was no we didn't exchange numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And there was no social media. Mm-hmm. So there was no way to like really kind of get. And so I was like, crap. So I remember literally the next day I came in, and in those days, the schedules for the 2 weeks were printed in a book on the table. And I mean, you could look it up on the cast portal, but it was really hard and arduous.
When you could still really hard on like a specific computer.
Yeah.
Too.
So like they had a printed out book. So I immediately like started flipping through the book. And her name, like she wasn't in it for like 2 weeks because she was part-time. Mm-hmm. She worked a lot of nights. So I was like, crap, like I'm never going to see her again. And guess who literally walked through the door that morning? She had picked up a shift unbeknownst to...
That's crazy.
Yep. She walked right in and I was like, uh-oh. And that was that.
I was just trying to stalk you.
Kind
and
of.
Here you are.
But that wasn't just that though, because Jacob, as smart as he can be, had absolutely zero inclination that I was interested in him.
I mean, I had a little clue, but I couldn't believe that someone this attractive would be in.
He did not pick up on any hint. Mm-hmm. It was like almost annoying. I was like, are we gonna hang out? And then so he finally invites me out, but it's a group hang with a bunch of other cast members. And I'm like, okay, fine, like breaking the ice. Cool. Safe. And then he just kept trying to get me to go out in groups. So I was like, are you not into me? But like clearly it seems like you're into me. So like why? And I think I actually had to ask you, like, can we do something not as a group?
Whoops.
And he was like, oh, okay, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Just keeping it real. Nice and patient. I knew it was long term, so I wasn't going to ruin it.
Lots of things you can tell JJ what not to do.
What are you talking about? This is the most successful relationship of all time. I think it was perfect.
I mean, yeah. It was very sweet. Yeah. It was very sweet.
That's cute.
And so, yeah, we spent a lot of time at Rock and Roller Coaster together. Mm-hmm. Sneaking kisses in backstage hallways.
Yeah.
Trying to hide the relationship for a good bit.
Yeah. Were you not allowed to date
coworkers or just... There was like a rule about
just managers and things.
Yeah, it's just we didn't have people. And I mean, it was a lot of young cast members.
It's basically high school at an attraction. Like it's
want it to be like
the story.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna be real, at an attraction, everybody's doinking everybody for the most part. So like we were trying to make it like
we didn't
we're
want
not
it to be like this like silly fling thing. We were just trying to keep it to ourselves for a little bit till we figured it out.
Mm-hmm. And we got caught at PI.
We did. We
by one of our drunk managers. She was so drunk. She was like, oh, "Are you good? Are you?" And we were like, she's drunk. She won't remember. And then of course by the next day,
everybody knew. Everybody knew.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, so like my brain is exploding because we would have all been hanging out at Pleasure Island at the same time.
It's true.
Yeah, the Comedy Club. What was it called?
Yeah.
Comedy Warehouse.
Comedy Warehouse. Yeah.
We were like my group of friends in college. We all got annual passes to Pleasure Island, and because on Friday nights you could bring a guest for free, so we like buddied up and split the annual pass cost. So we would always go together, and we would all go on Friday nights. Like 8 cars full of us would go all at the same time.
Well, we were only there on Tuesdays.
Did we just get in free because we were cast members?
Cast member night was Tuesday or Thursday. I can't remember which one.
Because I was like, I don't remember.
So we would only go on those days.
Yeah, so we're bored.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean, the annual pass was like $40. And we like that's why we only did Fridays so we could bring a partner so we could split it, and it was $20 each for the whole year.
Yeah.
So
we'd always go, and I always remember our favorite thing to do though was we would go and get in line for the 12:05. It was always a weird like the Comedy Warehouse show because in that queue at 12 though they shot off the fireworks by the big stage, so you had a perfect view of the fireworks, and then they would let you into the 12:10 Comedy Warehouse show. That was usually our night.
I think one of our
some
very
Adventures
first
Club sprinkled in there.
pictures or selfies together was actually in that queue waiting for
Probably.
Comedy Warehouse. I don't know where it exists at this point, but it was like a physical, like printed picture. It wasn't digital. So
I know the one, and we can post it. The very first photo I have of us is at Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
We are just babies.
We were babies. That was the one at Cinderella's Castle.
Yeah.
Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
can we share that picture?
No, we will.
Okay.
Yeah.
You see it now. Or whenever Don decides to put it in. Yeah. So what else? What happened? Then we got married and had kids, and that's it.
That's it. Apparently. Nothing in between. Nothing in between. Then what happened? I don't know. I mean, I eventually moved on from attractions to resorts. So I worked at the Caribbean Beach Resort. And then you stayed at attractions. You became a coordinator?
Coordinator.
Yeah.
Trainer. Coordinator.
And then I went to work for the Orlando Police Department as a 911 operator and dispatcher, which was before you did it.
You went when I opened Everest because we never saw each other.
Let's be honest, I got that job purely out of nepotism because my parents both worked for the police department and they were like, hey, my daughter's
at this point, they'll hire anyone though.
So yeah, now they would
They're severely
absolutely.
short-staffed.
But at the time I felt like it was kind of difficult to get that job. I had to take the typing test twice. It was tough.
I don't know if I could do, I don't know. It feels like that would be super high pressure and I might not be able to do it.
Oh, it is super, super high pressure. Absolutely. I had to be really good at compartmentalizing because you can't take that home with you.
Yeah.
So,
I know.
Yeah, but you do.
I mean, you do, but you also you do to an extent, but you turn off the things that you need to turn off.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. And that was where we got engaged.
Yeah.
I was working there. I was actually working midnights on the night that we got engaged.
Yeah, she had to go to work.
Oh my gosh.
It was very, very sweet though. But yeah, no, I was working midnights and I woke up from a nap and I mean, there was a lot more to it, but then I proposed.
No, you didn't go to work that night because we went to dinner. So you were off.
Yeah, we went to dinner and then I went to work.
Did you? Oh.
Yeah.
Whoops.
You were asleep.
Yeah,
so
I specifically remember because we got champagne at dinner and I was nervous about drinking champagne. So I literally only took a sip of it because you're not allowed to drink before your shifts. So I was like, ooh. But I was like, we're celebrating someone else. So.
And that was in 2000. And then
Sure.
And we got married in 2008.
Yeah.
At the Ritz Carlton.
Yep.
And if you watched our favorite venues episode, you would have seen one of their wedding pictures.
That's right.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. Which the funny thing about the Ritz was we weren't planning on there. We wanted to elope. I know she hates it when I call it the Ritz.
It's not a cracker. It's the Ritz Carlton.
Yeah. They're ladies and gentlemen serving ladies and gentlemen.
Good job.
I know.
I'm proud of you for remembering that.
We just wanted to elope, but we had some family, of course, pressure that they wanted a bigger ceremony. So we ended up going there. We looked even at Disney at the time.
We did look at Disney, which, funny enough, it was not by any means cheap to get married there at that time. However, it was about the same price as getting married at Disney. And that was doing a cast member boardwalk wedding because we couldn't afford wedding pavilion. And so we looked and we kind of compared our options and just overall, we really just liked the Ritz Carlton better.
Oh, I got to tell you a story. Go back because I forgot about our engagement, though.
Yeah.
I don't know if I told you this, but
I had originally planned.
What I originally planned for engagement.
Oh, this is good.
Yeah.
With the coaster.
Was that Rock and Roller Coaster?
Yeah, this is the greatest story.
So I had this harebrained scheme that I wanted to propose to her at Rock and Roller Coaster, and my idea was, and that's where we met, was we would get into the limo. As it counted down to say 3, 2, 1, and the sign would obviously it was after hours. We're cast members. We could do this. It would say, "Krystle, will you marry me?" Because all things could be done. And then when we launched, it would play our song, which was an Alison Krauss, "When You Say Nothing at All." All these things are pretty easy because literally in the back, the card, there's just SD cards. Like you just put it in. So you could play anything. That's why I always said when they're like, what if Aerosmith were to die? They could fix it real quick. They could literally just put in whatever Disney Channel person they have at the time. It'd be really easy. So I went to talk to my managers about it, and they were surprisingly receptive. Nowadays, they would not even think about it.
No.
I started talking to the maintenance guys who were, remember DC?
Oh, yeah.
So the head maintenance guy there, and he loved it. And he was like, that's all easy. That's so easy to do. So then it got into the stages of it could happen. So then they had to farm out, though, like, to change the sign. They had to pay someone to make the sign. And of course, because it's Disney and you're dealing with another company and Imagineering, it was going to be like $10K to do it.
And again,
I made $7.
Neither do photographers.
So everyone was on board until that, and then that kind of shut it down.
It was such a good idea.
It was a great idea. It would have been really cool, but I mean, I have to say, I do love our actual engagement story. So it's very intimate and very us, it felt like. So very appropriate.
I had enough pull a rock roller coaster to at least
entertain the idea.
Managers were on it. Maintenance was for it because they all loved her too. But money.
Yep.
And I know now Disney would not even let you they'd be like, no, never. We're not going to let you do anything.
Yeah. No, because they would be too worried about like the spin-off effect of other people asking for it.
No, that's not true though. If someone came in with the right enough money, if a celebrity came in with enough money, they would do it.
Oh, yeah.
But they would lock that down.
Of course.
They would never want anyone to know.
Yeah.
No, I feel like they would get...
They were really worried.
Enjoy the social media.
The problem too was the sign, because nowadays too, that sign, like, it is part of it. It has to show the countdown for liability reasons. Like, they don't want to just launch for no reason.
Yeah.
So they were really freaked out that if they mess with the sign and then it doesn't work, the ride itself would not be able to open the next day.
Yeah.
Because they'd never changed it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Without being in a refurb where they're working on it. They've never just one night messed with it and then put it back. So I get it.
Yeah.
But.
Okay, so after you moved on to resorts, then the police department, then where did your career take you?
Well, so then my career took me to Portland, essentially, immediately after we got married. So we got married in February, leap year.
Leap day.
We got married on February 29th. And then April 1st, I think, is when we moved to Portland.
Yeah.
So it was a very quick turnaround. And that was really it was a very intentional decision. Hindsight, it was a very reckless decision.
It's something you can only do when you were 20-something.
Right. We did not have prospects of jobs. We just figured, okay, we'll get there and we'll wing it. We'll figure something out. Because he was going back to school, and I was very supportive of that. We wanted to be close to his mom. We were actually staying with his mom, and we ended up staying with her for much longer than we expected to stay with her and her partner, because we couldn't get jobs, at least not decent paying ones, to be able to afford our own apartment for a little bit.
What's up, IKEA?
So then that took me to, I did a few different things there. I worked for a bridal shop part-time, and it's bridal boutique.
Yeah, that's why you started getting into weddings.
Literally a family business, and the most amazingly sweet people. I worked with her daughter, Nora, who owns a very successful wedding coordinating job or business, Bridal Bliss.
See where it's all coming together now.
So kind of got my toes in on weddings before he even considered it, but really enjoyed certain aspects of that and needed to make extra income because the bridal shop was part-time, and working with the wedding coordinating company was basically an internship. So I wasn't making much money. So I also got a job at IKEA.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Like part-time in Smallland.
Oh, fun.
Which was
Or
Interesting.
Not fun?
No, I mean, it's fine.
It's pre-kids,
I'm
too.
great with kids.
Yeah.
I've always been great with kids. I mean, I've been around kids for a very long time, so I was great with kids. I had to get, CPR and first aid certified, and, we would get a lot of bloody noses. And
the fights in there are crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Like, kids
Knife
would jump into
fights.
the ball pit and like
Mm.
somebody would accidentally get whacked. And so it was lots of like, there was a
Mm.
lot more first aid in that job than one would have expected.
And pee-pee and poo-poo.
But
Aw.
yeah, so the amount of bloody noses that I helped kids manage, that was really interesting. But I did that for a little while. And then
I knocked you up.
you knocked me up. I got pregnant. I remember
First try.
having to tell my boss at the time. It was way before we were planning on telling anybody, but I was so sick with that. Like,
Yeah.
I had intense
Oh.
morning sickness, which for anybody who's been pregnant knows that it's bullcrap.
Not contained to the morning.
It's not reserved for the morning alone. It was all day.
They put her on
Okay.
chemo medicine.
Well, it wasn't chemo medicine, but
Like
yes,
the
they put me
nausea
on the
medicine.
anti-nausea medicine that they were giving to, because
Chemo
being
medicine.
pregnant, there's
Yeah.
only so many things that you can take that, wouldn't affect the baby. And they actually tried me on one other one first that was a more mild one, and it did nothing. So then they put me on that one, and because otherwise they were going to hospitalize me. Like, I couldn't even keep water down. It
Oh my
was
gosh.
just,
She looked great.
I did not. I
No,
looked
she did.
so bad. I looked ill. It was not a good look. My pants were falling off of me, like, not in a good way. It was bad.
She was pregnant. Don't get any ideas. Gross.
So,
Yeah.
no.
But then we moved
Got knocked
back
up.
in 2011
Yeah. Yeah, JJ was a year and a half, so our son.
because I got a prospect for a job at Disney
Yeah.
for photography.
You all but got
Oh.
offered the job,
So,
except for the
I
fact that
applied
we
for-
weren't living
Yeah, I
in
applied for a
Florida.
part-time job
Mhm.
at this Disney. I didn't know it was called Fine Art Photography.
Mhm.
Went through a bunch of interviews. They loved it. And I got there, and then eventually they were like, oh, well, you're not here? I was like, well, we are moving back, so I'll be there. But they were like, just contact us when you get here. I was like, what? They eventually gave that job to, and this is for people to know, Lisa Lyon.
Really?
She was the one who got the job that I applied for.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this history we're uncovering.
I
See?
know.
So shout out Lisa Lyon. Yeah, so I came back, I reached out to the contact that I had, and they were like, sure, but we're going to make you a contractor. Which is yeah.
better.
Yeah. They were like, so you get all this and you don't have to schedule. I was like, this sounds great. I don't have to deal with any of the BS. Perfect. So we came back and that was 2011.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
I don't think I realized you had moved back to Portland.
It was very
School.
brief.
It was like, what, 3 years?
Yeah, a little under
Okay.
3 years.
Yeah.
And then we were back, and then she got knocked up again.
The totality of your worth in this
He
relationship.
But-
gets a lot of things out of
What
there.
did you?
Like, nothing happened
Eventually,
between.
though, obviously, I became a photographer, a very successful photographer. Blah, blah, blah. But what did you do? Like, what did you realize your passion was, and you went to school for? Like, what have you become?
Yeah. Well, so then,
You're more than
I'm trying-
babies and moms. So
Thank you. Appreciate that. It was around COVID, wasn't it?
Mhm.
I did another job kind of in there also, which
Yes.
we can touch on. But after COVID, I really was just trying to think about what I wanted to do, what was something that was for me, because of course I'd been helping him with the business for a while and I enjoy that, but
Mhm.
it's really his baby. Like, he is the creative behind the business. I help him manage the business, but it's the Jacob show, which is totally fine. It should be, because I am not properly trained in photography, but I wanted something for me. And so I went back to school for interior design and got certified as a designer, and then eventually ended up working at West Elm as a designer
That's right.
for about a year, and then went to Pottery Barn, where I now both design and manage.
So cool.
And I didn't realize this. Williams-Sonoma owns all these companies.
And they're our parent companies. So we have all of, I think there's 9 brands in total, but we have all these little companies.
Pottery Barn, West Elm, Chipotle.
Sure.
No? What else do they have?
So there's Williams-Sonoma, there's Williams-Sonoma Home, there's Pottery Barn, PB Teen, Pottery Barn Kids, West Elm, Rejuvenation, Mark and Graham. And there's one more. What is the other one? I always forget.
Chipotle.
And obviously, Krystle's biggest job was coming and designing this set.
That's true. With what little we gave her, we gave her no money.
Let's be honest, there was zero budget. I was just moving around furniture that was already in this room to try and make it.
And moving all of my crap to not look awful.
So obviously, your full-time job is designing.
Yeah.
But you also run my business.
Yeah.
J+K Robertson Photography. So what do you do there? Because I don't do anything.
You do a lot. But I manage. So basically when people are talking to us, they're talking to me. Although I will give him credit because I have been really busy with work lately, my other work. And so he has really stepped in and has actually sent out some emails all by himself, which I was really proud of.
Her emails are like,
look at you.
Her emails are these beautiful worded, like from her Ritz-Carlton days and her all these like customer service. She's so good. And mine are like, yes, we do good. We do shoot tomorrow.
Pay money or don't. We shoot anyway.
Please stop emailing me. I don't want to talk.
One of the biggest things that I really had to kind of not fight with him on, like there was no fight, but like really push him towards was charging appropriately for his work. He was like, no, I don't want to raise prices. Like nobody's going to want to pay it. And I'm like, no, they will. That's your worth. Like that's also like contributing.
Me no worth good.
Because then he's also coming to me, oh, I need this new lens and I need this. And I handle all of the budgeting for the job. So I'm just like, okay, we really need to charge more. We cannot afford to buy all of these things, make a living, and buy all of this gear at what we're charging. So we really had to like push him to agree to up our pricing and everything like that so that we could afford to buy everything and still live, because it's not just, okay, we buy this gear and then we do it for fun. Like, no, we have to make money doing this. Like, that's how we feed our children.
As we said before, Dawn and I, 100% of our income comes from photography. Yes. There was no outside source of money. Now, I'm not talking about spouses or partners, but Dawn and I specifically, all of my income is 100% from photography.
Yeah.
And this podcast.
Yeah. Which
someday
currently is
it's actually losing money. Technically, we have bought things, so we're technically
we're like $60 in the hole.
Yeah.
You gotta spend money, make money, right?
Mom, it's fine. Don's dad, if you could help us out. All right. So basically, if you're on my end, if you're emailing me or texting, you're really talking to Krystle, which is fine. That's why it's J+K. Her name's in it. She does come on shoots. Yeah. She doesn't shoot. She can. She has.
Second shot before, and I primarily just assist.
But like my favorite thing that we do is like when we have a wedding, if Dawn will be my second or whoever, she comes with as more of like a, I don't know, I call it the photography coordinator.
Yep. She
basically deals with all the stuff that I don't want to deal with, which is amazing, so that I can focus on like the couple. Like on the last wedding we photographed, there were so many moving parts. We were in 3 different locations with people. Okay, what time's the bride getting here? Who's picking her up? The fact that she could then, you know, when you're shooting and texting, the fact that it all went to her and she could just go like, bride will be here in 10 minutes. Great. Instead of me having to be like,
well, and instead of your second shooter having to do
Correct.
that. Because that's really who, I mean, you
would normally do it.
Yeah, normally when either of us is lead, like we're pushing that stuff to the second shooter so that we can keep going with whatever needs to be happening, which means our second shooter isn't shooting as much.
Yep.
And there were so many aspects to that particular day that our second shooter had to leave us multiple times to go set up a different location because there was a lot of movement happening between, you know, the groom's over here, the bride's over here, and then when the groom and bride are together after, was it first look or was it after the ceremony?
It was after the ceremony. There was no first look.
There was no first look. That's right. Like there was literal movement. Like there were there was a carriage involved. So there was like literal movement. So we were at one location and Stephanie, which we were our second, was like way down here.
Yeah. Or even at like Kennedy Space Center when we did that wedding, like you were bringing, like, you were like the tour guide for the family, like bringing them around to us when we needed them. And otherwise, like you wouldn't have had a second shooter for the first look because I would have had to be doing that. So yeah, that's.
Or that guy who was asking about the chair. We were we were just sitting there ready for the ceremony to start. And some guest assumes we work for the thing. They're like, oh, the chairs aren't right. There's not enough chairs. And we're just like.
I was like, I don't know, but I'll try and find out for you. Not really sure what's happening with the chairs.
I don't mean that in a horrible way, but at least,
Yeah. We feel pressure to try to solve those problems. Correct. If we're not.
But I can't just leave because the ceremony's going to start at any second.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's hard to tell people, like, I know it looks like I'm not doing anything, but I can't help you.
Yes.
Because if they walk down that aisle while I'm helping you, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's a lot of pressure to capture that.
So I'm interested in this part because I'm only on the photographer side of things. But what is it like being the partner of a photographer who works crazy wild hours? Although it sounds like you have worked your fair share of crazy wild hours in your life too. But
I mean, definitely have. Yeah, absolutely. But it's just being a photographer's spouse, I feel like, can be a job itself, especially when families are involved, because there are times when, there have been times when he's literally worked like 80 hours a week. Like that was, pre-COVID, but that was like literally just.
We put in 20-hour days.
Yeah. You guys have talked about it on this podcast before, how it's really, really slow sometimes of the year. And we know that those are the slow periods. So we really try and store all of our nuts on the really busy times of year just to help sustain us through the slow times. So like during the busy times, like there were times when he was working like 80 hours a week and we barely saw him. And there are times when he's off with Amanda shooting, on these themed cruises, and
2 weeks.
He's gone for 2 weeks. So then I'm just single parenting.
Or buying a house.
A household. Yes, okay.
Spoiler.
If you want to get into a story, oh my goodness.
It's a good story.
We were in the process of trying to buy a house. This was right after COVID.
2020.
Kind of like
2022.
While it was ending, yeah. And then I was pregnant.
It's okay, it wasn't my baby.
I was a surrogate for our friends. And I was carrying their baby, and we were trying to buy a house. And he was working. When we went to look at the house, we had looked at so many houses. We had put in offers. They kept getting rejected. So it was a long process. So I was like, listen, there's this house I'm going to look at. I'm going to take the kids with me. Like, you're at work. You can come see it if I like it, whenever you want. So went and saw the house. Loved it. And he was like, okay. He's like, I'll come see it. But, like, if you love it, like, just let's put it down. Like, whatever we need to put down to secure the house. So I was like, all right, fine. So I did. And then.
I had not seen the house.
So he finally saw the house. It was probably like a couple weeks later.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So, spoiler alert, it's a model home was what we saw because our house was being built. So we had to wait for our house to be built. I was a few months pregnant at this point. And by the time the house was actually built, which of course it went through lots and lots of delays because at that time it was just building in general was crazy. So we went through a lot of delays there. I was supposed to be 6 months pregnant when we closed on the house, and I was 9 months pregnant when we closed on a house. I gave birth 2 weeks after we moved into that house.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. And I do remember you were doing a lot of unpacking.
And so,
by yourself.
Oh, just wait.
He packed a majority of things.
Yeah.
His mom, who is...
No, but let's not forget, though, I left for the cruises.
Well, his mom, who is a saint, literally came to stay with me and the kids because he was going to be gone for 2 weeks on these cruises, which I was already, not going to lie, not particularly happy about.
Can't imagine
that.
Sorry, Amanda.
Because I was so close to my due date, and I was like, I think this is a really bad idea, but, whatever. I'll handle it. So his mom helped me pack. the rest, because I ended up going on bed rest because I did end up going into labor the day after he left for the cruise.
Oh my gosh.
And my sister, thankfully, who is
Didn't
an
go into
amazing
labor.
support, went with me to the hospital and they were able to kind of pause my labor. They put me on medication, pause my labor, because I think I was like 35 weeks pregnant at that point. But but yeah, so paused my labor. Great, went home, kept on going. At that point, our loan had fallen. Like the company who had approved our home loan decided they weren't doing home loans anymore.
Oh my goodness.
So while he's gone, I'm literally having to work with other loan companies to get approved for a new home loan. He had to give me power of attorney.
Because I wasn't going to be there to sign.
Because he wasn't going to be there for closing, so I had to sign the paperwork. So I'm trying to
They were supposed to close it in December, and it's now March. So
Right.
it's not really like it is my fault, but I'd already booked this.
Yeah.
Right.
So there was so much happening all at once. And so they finally gave us our closing date. The loan came through. Everything went fine. But they literally had a backlog of people. And so it was a waiting room full of people that were trying to close at the same time. And I was literally visibly incredibly pregnant. And I had told the lady who had been working with us, I was like, listen, I'm on bed rest. I really can't go in there and wait hours in a waiting room to close. She was like, don't worry. Let me know when you're coming. I will have a room ready for you. We will get you in and out as soon as possible. Oh my gosh. So thankfully,
I didn't do any of this.
My mother-in-law drove me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was afraid, if I go into labor or something like that. So yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It was a crazy time. And then he came home. Was it the day we were moving
I remember
in?
because Dean drove me home from Miami, and I pulled up in front of our old house just as the movers drove away.
Yeah.
And I was like, "What can I do to help?"
So yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It was a one-woman show for that.
Wow.
But again, his mom is amazing. She is such a huge support when we need an extra hand. So
that's what it's like.
Yeah.
So it's a lot. It's definitely a lot. And like I said, when families are involved, it can be even extra.
I know. Our dogs have since passed, but that was probably the biggest thing for Ryan, with me working crazy hours. When I first started at Disney, I was also working another job at the Universal Studios hotels doing photos there. So I would frequently go in the morning at Disney to do a bridal session. So I'd be in at 4 or 5 in the morning, then go straight to the job at the Universal hotels, and then change clothes and go straight to the job, a convention job at Disney. So I'd be gone, I don't know, 16, 18, 20 hours. And we had 2 dogs, 2 big dogs at the time. So that was, Ryan had to do all of the walks and, all of probably the thing that I would guess he hates the most is having to cook for one person. He much prefers all the meals he can make when it's both of us. But he hates coming up with ideas to eat by himself all the time, which sometimes we go food shopping and I'm like, okay, so we have 2 dinners together and you'll have 5 by yourself. See you next week.
Chips.
Yeah.
That's not
frozen pizza.
For one.
But yeah, I can't even imagine having kids too, how much more it complicates things when
she's the best.
You're basically, like you said, a single parent for part of the year.
Yeah.
So it's yay, you're slow. Oh, we're poor. Yeah. What's the balance?
You're slow, you have time, but you don't have money to go do anything.
Correct.
When pre-COVID, I knew what to expect all the time, kind of, not all the time, but for the most part with our finances. I knew how slow we were going to be at this point. I knew how busy we were going to be at this point. I knew what I needed to store to make us, bring us through that. And then after COVID, it just became such a, it fluctuates dramatically and it's not the same.
Yeah, it's very unpredictable.
The highs are crazy high.
While I had so much stored thinking this is going to get us through, and then all of a sudden we were slow for much longer than we like it, and then you really have to stretch things. So it really, I feel like it did change after COVID in terms of the predictability of it.
Yeah, a few things changed at Disney that affected things. Like they changed their pricing, and they at one point changed like seasonal pricing. And so it pushed a lot of weddings to February and January, like it which normally is like super slow. So that was a nice little surprise. But then like we were assuming the busy times would still be busy, but then they weren't as busy because those people had moved. And then just the year, I think it was like 2022 was like booming for weddings everywhere.
That was a good year.
And so that was like a really good year. But then it was like 2023, it was like, where did everybody go? It was like everyone who had wanted to get married in 2020, 2021, and 2022 did it that year. And then everyone after that was like, we're going to take our time. You know, and like people were getting, I was even seeing like national statistics of the amount of time between proposal and wedding was stretching, and it was getting longer, and it was like an average of 3 years between proposal and getting married. And so I think we were like getting caught into that like weird
this is
time frame.
And people weren't meeting during COVID as much, so there's an engagement gap as well.
Right. Yes yeah, there was a whole gap. Just it was like a year deleted from time.
When I feel like COVID also tested a lot of people's relationships too, because you literally had no choice but to be with that person, and for some people there's too much of a good thing and it did not go well for them. So I mean, thankfully we did great. But I mean, I understand that not everybody is that way, and they need their own space and time away from each other. And
if you know Jacob,
you didn't get that.
I have actually in that drawer of my desk, I have a pin that Ryan got me. I think it was like the first Valentine's Day after like lockdown, and it's a little pin that says "Our love survived 2020."
Seriously, it was a test.
That's what I used to say to couples. I was like, if you can survive this, you'll be fine.
I'm not gonna lie, I think we actually ended up loving, obviously not that time of the world, but we ended up loving that time as a family because like I said, prior to that, there were weeks where he would work 80 hours a week. So it gave us time to spend as a family that we were not getting before that. So it really forced us to kind of slow down, get creative with what we were doing with the kids. And I think we really created some awesome memories together.
And you made fun of my board game collection now, huh? This is what we were preparing for.
I'm sure Krystle is still thinking about the budget in terms of your board game collection.
Board games don't upset me. It is the amount of space that some of them take up, and the amount of money that some of them cost is what is a bit extra sometimes.
When I was at your house for your birthday party, Jacob was like, do you see this cabinet? All of the board games were supposed to stay in this cabinet. And
so
they're
there's
like
a big cabinet that they're supposed to stay in. Then there's a little cabinet next to it that was an add-on. Okay, so now you have these two cabinets.
First off, that cabinet...
and now it's overflowing.
On top of the cabinet.
That cabinet was supposed to go to the ceiling. We compromised because that's what was available. So technically, they would be in the cabinet if we'd gotten the original cabinet. You know I'm right. Jacob math.
Well, let me also tell you.
Oh, here we go.
He was previously given a budget as to how many games we could have. Let me tell you.
Expansions aren't games.
That went out the window. I can tell you 100% he has gone over that number of games.
If you're one of my couples in like 2019, if you gave me a tip, which I appreciate, it bought me a board game.
100%.
Because that was under the counter board game money. So she thanks you.
Because I managed our finances both on business and just personal, and so I'd get all these like random charges on our card, and I'm like, "What is this?" And he's like, "Oh, don't worry. Here you go. Here's some cash."
I'd be like Tony Soprano, and I'd be like,
and I'm like, "Where did this cash come from?"
Too funny.
Anything else you want to add about being Krystle? Which is the proper spelling, by the way?
It's the last one.
That one?
Yeah. Okay. Although I can appreciate the Krystle.
It's like a fancy liqueur.
Yeah, absolutely.
For 20-year-olds.
The last one is the correct one. I don't know. What else is there about me?
I think we kind of nailed it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now you're going to sit here and listen to us talk for a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Go for it.
We have something very exciting we want to get to, so we're going to whiz through what we photographed this week. So you want to go first?
It is, yes. So I photographed a wedding. It was in Jupiter, Florida,
Whoa.
It was a freelance, and is that the right word? I can't remember the word.
Yes, that is farther than I am.
I don't know if I knew where Jupiter was when I said yes to it. I, for some reason, thought it was like, oh, it's probably near Daytona.
To be honest, though, Jupiter's probably easier to get to than Clearwater.
It was straight down this turnpike with no traffic. It took me 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Yeah,
so it wasn't horrible. But yeah, it was one though where it was a getting ready, church, and reception, and the reception was 50 minutes away from the ceremony site. Oof. Don't know.
That is some travel time for everyone.
Yeah.
Jeez. It's not like when they get ready somewhere and then everything else is really far from getting ready and you're just the only one.
But all the guests were there. And at first I was like, okay, maybe it's a small wedding, but then everyone goes to the reception. Nope. Everybody that was at the...
Wow.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah.
And then you and I...
Yay!
Had a bar mitzvah.
Woo! Yeah, so had a bat mitzvah party.
It is a bar mitzvah. I never remember which is ba and bot.
Bar is for boys. Bot is for girls.
Okay.
And then there's a lot of words that I am not quite familiar with yet.
Let's not.
For when it's combined. Like if it's 2 girls, 2 boys, a boy and a girl. And there's a gender neutral option that I haven't learned yet either. For like a single. So instead of... Anyways. We
shot a mitzvah.
Mitzvah, yeah.
Yeah, so we had that. And then we also did together a portrait session.
That's right.
Not quite like a 50th birthday portrait session, but she's just like, you know, it's like a new stage in her life, wanted to celebrate, and like she loves paddleboarding, so we did some pictures with that. And then I also had a headshot. An organization contacted me. It's called the Able Trust, and they work with students with disabilities. And they have a certain number of students that they highlight throughout the year for their accomplishments. And she's like, I want to share pictures of them, but I can't just use like their selfie from the bathroom. So if you can do headshots for us. So I got to do headshots for one of their students who goes to Timber Creek. So that was pretty cool. Yeah. But yeah.
That's not where she went to high school.
I know, but we talked about it.
She went to university.
I know she went to university.
School.
Okay. I'm just saying we talked about it.
Are we done? Let's get to the fun part.
Anyways, okay, fun part.
Krystle, fun part. You ready?
Oh gosh, no.
Where's your phone? Okay.
Oh, that fun part. I was like, what's happening?
For our photography portion.
Da 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 da.
Oh, are you writing down your answers?
Yeah, we're gonna write down as we go, like
that way.
And show the questions.
Shout things over you. I get it. I understand.
So we all love Friends, hence the name of this podcast. Yes. So Krystle has come up with Friends trivia questions for us. We're going to write down our answers.
What does the winner get? Also, I looked at the questions earlier.
You did not. He tried.
Okay. Are we going to do them one at a time? As in, like, we show our answer? Like, number 1?
I think so.
Okay.
And, like, just remember, like, I have a bad memory. Just, that's all. Just for when I embarrass myself.
Can you quote it, though, still?
I mean, there's a lot I can, but, like...
I feel like if you can quote it, like, you should...
I know. But then there's, like, some...
see how it goes.
Okay.
Come on, I want to win.
All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. I wish I had like a whole like Ross board with like, all of the... All right, anyways. What was the first thing Ross says in the very first episode?
Oh, dang.
Get out of here.
Listen.
Hold on. Okay.
First off, the first season is unwatchable.
You have to watch the first season.
The first pilot. The pilot is unwatchable.
He walks into Central Park.
He does.
Yeah.
I mean, does he just drool because Rachel's there? I don't remember.
No, she walks in afterwards.
Yeah, she goes in the wedding dress.
And then she's like, I want $1 million.
I couldn't remember who was already there when she came in.
I have no idea.
Oh, man. Did I make him too hard?
Is it Monica?
I said, hey, guys.
I'll give it to you. It's hi.
I was going to write that.
And he's like, hi.
Oh, yes.
I was totally going to write that. All right, make sure you put a check. You won.
All right.
Yay.
All right, this one's easier.
Okay.
What is the name of Joey's agent?
Oh. Okay.
3, 2, 1. Estelle.
Oh! I said Stella. I'm so close.
Stella.
Boom, baby.
I was like, old lady name.
Exactly. All All right. Who was the youngest character of the Friends?
Not cast member.
Not cast
by the
member.
actor.
Right. The character.
Joey.
Joey.
It is Rachel.
Dang it.
They do Rachel's 30th birthday. She was the last of them to turn 30.
Yes.
They were all reminiscing about their 30th birthday.
This is dumb.
I think I know the show better than both of
Let's
you.
do theme park.
Just FYI, I think I need to
Can we go back to
do
theme
the
park trivia?
Okay. Next question. What is Chandler's job?
Can I do the funny one? Or the...
I mean, the funny one is amazing, but I think we're looking for accurate answers. But you can give both.
I know what this
I have no idea.
episode this is from, but I put data analyst.
Oh, I put systems analyst.
I mean, you're both kind of there. He is a data analyst. Yeah.
I give it. But I wrote transponster as well.
Transponster. I would say Dawn is closer, so
She gets
I
it.
would give it to
it.
Dawn.
Oh, damn it.
Okay.
2-1.
We're both losers. There's no winners on this.
The winner is me.
Yeah.
All right. Aside from uncleanliness, what is Monica's pet peeve?
Aside from uncleanliness. Can I phone a friend?
I think this might actually be from the same episode.
From their quiz?
The trivia? I think it might be.
No, because I know Chandler's pet peeve.
It's not Chandler, it's Chandler Bong. Thank you very much.
Are you sure?
Other than...
You said to make him hard. I made him.
No, I
really
didn't.
thought about
I said.
He said not to go with the traditional questions.
I never said any of those.
You did at 11 o'clock last night before you went to bed. You most certainly did.
I was already asleep.
Oh, I don't know. I have nothing.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Okay.
I put Lord of the Dance, which I know is wrong.
I put rings on the table from your drink.
Coasters.
Which is
Good.
cleanliness still.
Animals dressed like humans.
We never got
I
that.
don't remember that at
No.
all.
Dang. Okay.
I need to rewatch
Well,
Friends.
I know you're gonna get this.
Oh, so it's for
But
her.
make sure that you think about the full answer.
Okay.
Who is Joey and Chandler's magazines addressed to?
Ugh. I do remember there being something more than what I know.
I got it. Yeah, ASMR.
But Ms.
Ms. Chandler Bong.
Yes, you both got it right. Good job.
At first I was like, Junior? No, it wasn't Junior.
No.
It's not Chandler Bong.
Chandler, yep.
Okay. What store does Phoebe hate?
Oh, Pottery Barn?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had to put that one on there.
Like, that was my first inclination. Then I was like, wait, do I just think that because that's where Krystle works
Was it
now?
3 to 4? Son of a bitch.
Yep.
Listen, this is a PG podcast. Okay?
It is not.
It is a Dawn bleeps everything out.
All right. What was Ross's monkey's name?
Oh, no. Oh, no, it's not in my brain.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
If I had like an hour, I'd remember it, but I got nothing. I forgot.
Write something down.
I got nothing.
Okay, you answer them.
Marcel?
Yeah.
It's tied, baby.
Okay. What instrument does Ross learn to play?
Is this number 9?
No, so
Yeah, number 9.
I didn't put it
Oh,
in
that's
number
right.
8.
Okay.
What instrument does Ross learn to play for Monica and Chandler's wedding?
I think.
I'm not 100% either. Is that clarinet?
Bagpipes?
Bagpipes.
Yeah, the comeback of the century, baby.
Okay, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. All right.
Okay.
So you gotta get this.
We can tie.
This is the last question, but I do have a tiebreaker.
Okay.
Just in case. Okay. What is the name of Ross's girlfriend that he leaves for Rachel?
Okay, but like...
Which one?
What do you mean, which one?
Just joking.
That he leaves for
I
Rachel.
know.
They're dating.
I know.
I don't think it's right. I said Mona.
I wrote Asian woman.
Oh my Lord. I'm not giving that to you. Her name is Julie.
Julie, yes. I knew it wasn't Mona, but I couldn't think of Julie's name.
But I'm half
and
right.
it wasn't Emily, because Emily was his wife.
Emily was his wife.
No, they never got. They did get married.
They did get married.
Asian
it did not
woman.
go well. You did not get it.
Yeah, but I won.
Okay, but you did still win.
Oh, okay.
I got 5, 50%, baby.
I got 1, 2, 3. I only got 4. Dang, I can't believe I forgot Marcel.
What was the tiebreaker?
What is Rachel's actual favorite movie?
Weekend at Bernie's.
You would have won that. Well done, ma'am. Those are good questions.
See? How bad was it?
No, not bad at all. I had to come up with those in like an hour last night before bed.
Mind you, Jacob told me a week ago, Krystle's in and fine with doing trivia.
Yeah. She is. See? It went great.
Basically the basis for... I mean, he knows I'm game for pretty much anything, so...
All right. Well, we don't know how to end these, but I won! 50%.
Wow.